Microphone check 1 2, testing 1 2 3. If you guys can hear me loud and clear, let me know. Which case is that? Are you referring to the Tennessee case? What's up, Grunge? All right, guys, the lines are open. You can join me live here in studio by clicking that link. Don't be shy. Or you can call that phone number, and I'll put you on speakerphone right here on the microphone. Or we can just hang out in the chat. Whatever. Sensei, what's going on? How's everybody's Sunday going? By the way.
We do not train to be merciful here. Mercy is for the weak. Here, on the street, in competition.
Witchy Austin Drummond. Yep, that's what I figured. It's interesting how close we get, guys. Whenever we put all the information and the evidence together, whatever they've made public, some of the things that we're able to dig up, right? We're pretty accurate. You know, we found out that they found the car there in Jackson, and immediately we knew that he had help. Right? We said he must have friends there. Sure enough, 2 guys were arrested for aiding and abetting. I think one was even charged with accessory after the fact. That's a serious charge. That's basically saying, like, Austin came up to you and said, "Hey, I just killed 4 people," and you just brushed that off, right? Like, "Oh, you killed 4 people? What can I do to help you escape law enforcement?" Takes a real sick piece of shit to do something like that. Yeah, I'm still following that case, Grunge. There's going to be information that's coming out. I haven't put anything through FOIA yet. I haven't put any requests through FOIA. I'm assuming it's all sealed. But I'm anticipating all of the information regarding that case will be made public very soon. I don't think we can expect a long, drawn-out trial with that one. Good to see you, Sensei. Lori Clarkson, how you doing? That dude was scary. The teacher thing threw me. Yeah. What about some of the reports that are coming about this guy? Tickling his female students, playing tag with them, getting in trouble for showing favoritism to his female students. I've been thinking about that case a lot lately, and I'm wondering if he tried to kill those 2 to get to the kids, right? There's a good chance he was trying to kidnap those 2 children. I can't take these 2 kids right here while their parents are still living. So how do I get to my victims? I'll kill their parents, right? We're trying to think like a sadistic psychopath. What does he want? He wants those kids. Those are his students. Those are the kids that he teaches, that same age. For me, that's the scary part about it. And usually that kind of, from cases that we've covered in the past, there's a boiling point where it tends to boil over, right? He becomes a teacher to get close to his target victim, young 9 year, not from 7 to 9, and then realizes, well, I can't perpetrate a crime against these girls or I'm going to prison. But he was probably finding it really hard to resist. So I call that the boiling over point, right? He's becoming, his urge is becoming uncontrollable, but he's weighing his options between my uncontrollable impulses, right, for young girls, and the knowledge that I will go to prison. He's juggling that. So what do? Well, I got to go out away from my anchor point, which was to Devil's Den, and then perpetrate my crime at by any means. He's already desperate. People ask, well, why would this guy go out and commit a crime in the middle of the day? Like Richard Allen. It's because he's already at his boiling over point. He's completely desperate. It's either him that he's going to hurt, somebody close to him that he's going to hurt, somebody's getting hurt. So how does he minimize that being personally attached to him? He branches out. Ooh, we got a 19-month members flex. Thank you, Sensei, for all your support. Loyalty flex. Hope they catch Austin. He really is a danger to society. Keep up the good work, Sleuth. You've been on fire with the updates. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, Grunge, that's just the way they worded it, right? They're always going to try to downplay it because it reflects poorly onto their facilities, their institutions. So they called it favoritism. It's not favoritism. That's just the way that they worded it. He was literally, he told one girl, according to a parent, that he wished that she would be his girlfriend. And I think that's what they called favoritism. Welcome in, Lori. Ooh. So he really probably was after the girls. Yes. I've come to that conclusion, and of course, this is just my opinion. Yes, he was after the girls. Remember, for me, it's always about trying to figure out what a psychopath is thinking, somebody that's not thinking logically. What could their version of logic be? Right? Well, you have to remove empathy from the equation and also put some type of impulse, uncontrollable impulse, some kind of urge, throw in some childhood trauma in there, something really bad that this person probably forgot about maybe in some occasions. And that's what you get, a recipe for disaster. He wanted those girls. How does he get from point A to point B? Point B being having those girls in his possession. They're things, they're not people to him. He's going to kill the parents. I'll kill these parents and I'll take these kids. But he picked the wrong parents. The parents realized what he was doing. They had situational awareness. And immediately the father did what he's supposed to do, is be the alpha. Boom. He sprung into action. Like, we got a sadistic killer here. I'm gonna be the shield. And the mother, immediately knowing that he was targeting the children, says it's important for me to get these girls out, because if he kills both of us, he's going to get what he desires, which is my beautiful kids. Rushes them to safety and then goes right into the fight with, ultimately, which was the devil. I don't care what you say. Most of these serial killers will tell you straight up, I am possessed by the devil. Some of you out there, some of you agnostic atheists are like, oh, that's just a psychological thing going on. As I said, you can believe what you want. I'm just telling you the way I see things. She went back and fought the devil, and he didn't get anything that he went there for. He went to prison. For what? Because he could not control himself. Why couldn't he control himself? Because he was probably victimized at one point. lost his connection with God, right? When you lose your connection with God, something else fills that void. And we all know what that is, right? You take off your armor, you know, or if you have a chink in the armor, kind of like trying to hunt a dragon, you got that one little chink in the armor. Grunge says, makes me look at everyone twice when I'm out on the trails. Not just the trails, man. Let's see. What have we learned from sadistic serial killers? Their targeting methods, trolling, right? They troll, kind of looking around, who would make a good victim? Does all this feel right? Is everything adding up here? Boom, right? They check all the boxes and there's this victim. So they move from trolling to stalking. So that's what we have to look out for. Like, am I being followed? Look at people's faces. Like, didn't I just see you at the mall? Because that's what they do: trolling, stalking, and I'm sure that includes online stalking. And another scary thing that they'll do is they'll catfish your family members and your children, and they'll gain access in that way too. So you have to make sure your digital back doors are closed. Right, your daughter, your youngest kid has a new best friend that you don't know about, grooming them and showing them how to keep secrets, but really they're just gleaning information to get close to you. Trying to get the names of all your animals and trying to hack into your um, cameras in your home and things like that. Davey, Sleuth, listening to this new group I like a lot. If you like metal, check out Sleep Token. Okay, let me keep this true crime. I saw a post today saying Brian Koberger is innocent. He got railroaded. Yeah, there's a few content creators out there who are still supporting Brian Koberger. Now, to me, I feel bad for them because that's just a telltale sign that they're egotistical maniacs, right? Only your ego can bring you to a place like that, right? At the beginning of the crime, we're all in this together. We're there for the victims, the Idaho 4 who were affected. We were there. We were all there together at the beginning. When Abby and Libby were murdered, at the beginning of it all, we were all there together as one. But then it's the ego that brings people to a place that dark, right? Because it takes time for people to go down rabbit holes, to try to come up with their own answers. And they don't have the ability to say either that I'm wrong, to backtrack, or to change trajectory. So instead, they start forcing the square into the round peg. And this is where they end up supporting like a Brian Koberger. It's all ego. The ego won't allow them to backtrack, to stick to facts, to acknowledge the victims and the pain that's there. All they see is that I was right. Some people that agree with me are going to follow me, like the Pied Piper. Yeah, there's a quite a bit of them, Davey. Lori, that's a true sickness, supporting BK. And supporting BK is just a symptom of something else, and that's the ego. The ego will grab you by the collar All right, guys. Sorry about that. It's been getting so hot here that we've been getting these rolling blackouts. It's like for a split second, boom, the power goes out and then kicks back on. It's crazy. It's going to be 115 degrees. Like, what the hell is that about? Where did I lose you? I was just about to say, what's up, fishy? Welcome in, Silent Running. Bad actors. Who'd I miss? The last 24. Good to see you. It was a cold summer. That's what I'm talking about. F that. Yeah, I don't like the whole electric car agenda. Where do they think the power will come from and how much will it cost? Well, I mean, the sun has plenty of power, but we don't have technology to really harness it right now. That's what we should be working on. Solar. Giant batteries and solar. Unless we can find something better. But don't forget the story of Atlantis. You don't want to run faster than the technology. Yeah, I was trying to get a duplicate key made for my truck earlier today, and the guy was like, "Well, we can only do it early in the morning because it's too hot." Like people are literally afraid, are terrified of this heat out here because it's scary. Had a guy die the other day who was a construction worker, just at work. And whenever I drive past those guys, I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know how you guys do it." They got long sleeves on, they're covered from head to toe, and it's 110 degrees out. I mean, that's fucking torture. Oh, that sounds wonderful. I could go for some of that. Yeah, Mark. 115. Either sometime this week it's supposed to hit 115. And it literally feels like you're in an oven. Like I get the whole humidity part of what this is just something different. Like you're literally being cooked. There's no moisture. You're not being slow cooked by the humidity. You're just being baked. You know, it's like when you put toast in a toaster. That's what I feel like when I step outside. Yeah, let's talk about the pro burgers. It's just crazy. It's obvious that the dude is a psychopath, but instead of him saying, "Oh my goodness, I was wrong," you know, I jumped on a bad frequency, a bad vibration, and it took me down the wrong road. But I'm back to reality. I apologize. Yeah, you don't even have to apologize. Just come back. Carol Ann, come to the light, Carol Ann. We love you, Carol Ann. No, tell her to stay away from the light. Tangina. Bah. Jet Set J, what up? 66 here in Seattle as well. Damn. Are you guys getting rain or what's going on here? They are all about being oppositional, not rational. You saying like a contrarian, just naturally, instinctually playing devil's advocate? I don't think so. I think part of them truly believes these people are being railroaded. I mean, think about it. How do we have something like hybristophilia? How is it that you have Ted Bundy, who's been pretty much proven during his trial of killing probably 100 women he's suspected of killing, yet you have some women who are attracted to him? To me, there's nothing different than people who are supporting Brian Koberger. It's one thing if before his conviction, or screw that, like an actual confession, because I know there's false convictions and I know there's false confessions, but this was straight up a psychopath admitting to killing these 4 innocent people, and then they continue to support him. I believe that whatever is similar to hybristophilia. Tangina, and then he like tries to grab her. Oh, that movie was so scary. You moved the headstones, but you didn't move the bodies. Yep, Richard Ramirez. I mean, what kind of person looks at Richard Ramirez and says, "Oh, I can fix him"? Honestly, to me, it's like the same thing as Rex Heuermann becoming pen pals with Bit Rolf, right? They relate to each other. If I see you out there, I'm not going to judge you for continuing to support Brian Koberger, but I am going to take note of the red flag that it's throwing up in the air, and that it's possibly that you're relating to him, knowing that he's a sadistic killer. Maybe that was the part you were relating to all along. I don't know. But I'm definitely going to be cautious. That's the difference between judgment and discernment. Jet Set. No, we haven't had rain in a week or so. August is usually our hottest month coming up. We can even get temperatures of up to 90s now since global warming. Good old global warming. It's climate change, I swear. I just need $60 million funneled into my foundation and we'll fix it. Bad actors. They could see a video of him doing the deed and still claim he's innocent. It's more anti-law enforcement, in my opinion, and the defense attorneys on YouTube boister the thinking. I don't know what it is. Because usually the anti-law enforcement types, these anarchists who are kind of dark to begin with, usually they draw the line, when somebody's obviously confessing. They seem to try to advocate more for false confessions, people being coerced, police corruption, and those things really do exist. So I'm cautious of those things. I just don't try to run around and act like they're so prevalent or more prevalent than they actually are. But they do happen. But not during every police interaction is there going to be like evidence planted and lies thrown out, false statements. But a lot of times that does happen. That's why cameras and the First Amendment are so important. I agree, Lori. Did you know they used real human skeletons in the swimming pool scene? Oh, shit. Well, we used to have a real skeleton in my one of my classrooms when I was going to school. It's easier to fool people than to convince them that they have been fooled. Mark Twain. Absolutely. That's the thing. Like, you don't have to control reality or anything in the physical world Truthfully, all you have to do is control somebody's perception of it. If you can gaslight and manipulate, and that's what a lot of psychopaths do, they're very good manipulators. They can literally warp space and time. I call it the Jedi mind trick. You don't need to see his identification. I don't need to see his identification. Right? Richard Allen, hiding in plain sight. Yeah, I was at the trails that day. I didn't really see anything. And they look pathetic. Like the movie Usual Suspects. Remember, he's like limping around the whole movie looking like all pathetic and helpless. And that's everybody saying, oh, well, that guy couldn't do anything. Look, he's limping around. He's not the killer, right? They always got it figured out. He couldn't get up that hill. Well, the whole time the guy's limping, looking pathetic, looking like the little guy. But at the end of the movie, he ends up being like the main suspect, the mastermind. But some people are susceptible to the manipulation of psychopaths. And I'm trying to train myself not to be. I think at some level we all are. But if we can train ourselves and know what to look for, we can prevent it. Yeah, I can't remember. They talked about the price. They did. OMG, that swimming pool scene was terrifying. I still think the clown won, though. Traumatized the whole generation. Yeah, clowns are just creepy in general. And we all know why. If it wasn't for Gacy, we wouldn't even be worried about clowns. If it wasn't for that sadistic SOB. Exactly. Just like Richard Allen, just like Kagan Klein. Oh, I'm just a pathetic little fat kid who never really had a chance. But get them alone with somebody that they trust. They'll probably talk about Satanism, sacrificing people, rape, incest, bestiality. Like these guys are 10 times more disgusting than what you see, what they try to portray themselves as. Bad actors with the clown. I don't know. You seem to know a lot about the price of skeletons. But that's my skepticism. Louise, what up? What's going on, Miss Dog Lover? Terrifier. I've never really seen the movies, but I like the short clips of it. Looks like a pretty scary movie. Richard Allen fooled a lot of people, and he still is. Yeah. Notice him in his interrogation video. He's got his hands like between his legs, and he's got his legs kind of close together, and he's leaning forward, and he's kind of rocking like a child. Like, oh shucks. Oh shucks, Tony Leggett. I didn't see nothing out there. Little old me. That's him to do the Jedi mind trick. But Mullins wasn't having it. Either was Tony.
See your identification.
You don't need to see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification.
I rest my case.
All right, let's go to the poll results here. Who are you? 18% of you are new subscribers. Big up to you. Shout out to the new subscribers. Welcome to my channel. It's good to have you. If you need to get a hold of me for whatever reason, you can send me an email, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. All right. 6% of you say, I'm a troll. F the Sleuth crew. Aw. F the Sleuth crew. And then 24% of you are just lurking. What the hell? That's too big of a percentage. If you're lurking right now, drop something in the comment. Drop a comment in the chat, please. I'm just curious. You're gonna die, clown. What do you mean, Lori? What's up, Paul? Tanya, oops, I hit lurking. I'm subscribed. Well, we're glad to have you. How's everybody's weekend going, by the way? We've managed to stay really busy, but today we had to reschedule some things. My wife's not feeling well. That's why I came live. It's like, hey, we got some time on my hands. Let's check in with the crew. Sensei, when I was a little kid, my uncle took me and my sister and into the circus. I was probably 5 at the time, and we all were scared to death of the clowns. Laugh out loud. We cried the whole time. I don't know. They can just be really scary. Not only that, clowns are intense. They're always bouncing off the wall. Lori says, you can lurk, but at least give a like. I like that. I like that. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate that. Shout out to the lurkers. Especially the ones like when they lurk. If you're a like lurker, you always have a place here. Mark says lurking but working. Tommy? Or Tammy, sorry. Welcome, Tammy. Are you lurking too, Tammy? Actually, Miss Dog Lover, that's changed right now. My shop is causing some issues in my website. So if anybody needs any Sleuth Crew merch, just email me and I'll hook you up. We're about to hit 10,000 subscribers here too, guys. So when we do, we'll probably give away some Sleuth Crew merch. Maybe some T-shirts and a hoodie. So I don't know. That might be in a day or two. Yeah, that's an interesting case, Lori. Let me see if I have a folder on her. I did a live stream on her a way back. People that went missing while on vacation. Yep. See, I have a folder here. Let me pull it up. Very interesting case. there is a little bit of evidence, circumstantial evidence, that she might still be alive. So see, initially the authorities suspected that Amy had either fallen overboard or died by suicide. However, this speculation was soon discredited as Amy was known to be a strong swimmer, and her body was never found in the waters, as well as no evidence of foul play. On the morning of her disappearance, 2 passengers told Ron that they saw a woman matching Amy's description taking an elevator to the ship's deck with cigarettes and a lighter. However, this did not lead to any findings. Another witness was a cab driver, where he stated that the woman matching Amy's description approached him and said she urgently needed a phone. See, so there were some sightings. Let's see what else I got in here. Video.
Who went missing 18 years ago in Montgomery, Vermont.
Thank you for joining us tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Liz Streppa.
And I'm Alice King. Vermont State Police say they have matched.
She worked. Her car was later found. Mother is still very close to answers.
No arrests have been made. It's attorney Willis.
Very close to answers.
This looks like a different case. Let's see what else I have in this folder. Oh, here it is. Still searching for missing
years
Amy.
Since a Virginia woman went missing while on a Caribbean cruise. The FBI says it is still investigating the mysterious disappearance of Amy Lynn Bradley.
Thanks,
the
Paul.
23-year-old was last seen on the Royal Caribbean cruise ship Rhapsody of the Seas, March 24th, 1998.
So that evening, Amy was out at the disco with her brother, other passengers and crew, socializing and having a great time. In the morning, when her parents and her brother woke, Amy was gone.
The family reportedly said they started looking for Amy just as the ship was docking in the island of Curacao, and they don't know if she departed the ship or not.
Nice.
The FBI released
That's your money.
photos of what Amy Lynn Bradley might look like today. She also has tattoos, including a Tasmanian devil on her shoulder, a sun
Brianna.
on her back, and a gecko on her navel. The agency is asking anyone who may have been on the cruise that day to contact your local FBI. Years since a Virginia.
Yeah, we covered Brianna Maitland's case too.
Who went missing 18 years ago in Montgomery, Vermont.
Thank you for joining us tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Liz Streppa.
And I'm Alice King. Vermont State Police say they have matched DNA evidence to a person of interest in the Brianna Maitland case.
Well, no arrests have been made. It's a turning point in the case. NBC5's John Hawks joins us live from Williston now with more. John?
That's right. Vermont State Police saying today that they're very close to answers in the disappearance of Brianna Maitland after 18 years.
It's hard to keep your hopes up, but I still try to.
Bruce Maitland, Brianna's father, is still holding out hope that he'll find his daughter. Saturday, marking the 18th year of her disappearance. Brianna, 17 years old at the time, was last seen leaving the Black Lantern Inn in Montgomery, where she worked. Her car was later found backed into an abandoned barn. 18 years later, police are getting a little closer to figuring out what happened back in 2004.
I want to find Brianna so much. That's still my life's goal. And as I get older, that that becomes the being able to reach that and be able to find her. It's hard to keep your hopes up, but I still try to.
A few days ago, he got a call from Vermont State Police with welcome news, announcing they have a DNA match with an item found near Brianna Maitland's car. For the integrity of the investigation, they will not release what the item is.
We had to go out into the field and actually do the investigative work to be able to get the match. And so that was what we did. Once both of them gave us the information of who the DNA might potentially belong to, investigators then went into the field and ultimately were able to determine that match.
VSP sent DNA evidence to Othram Inc., a lab in Texas that specializes in forensic sequencing.
They've actually solved a lot of cold cases, so I was really hopeful that something, will turn up from it.
The lab compared DNA from 11 people, narrowing down to just one. Even though they have a match, there isn't enough evidence to consider the person a suspect.
That's the process that we're working
What's
on
up,
right
DL?
now. So we actually don't have any suspects in this case at this point in time. Everything is still a lead that we're working on.
Bruce Maitland is being cautiously optimistic about the news.
Over the years, there's just been so many times when something has come up that looked promising, and it all just kind of falls apart.
Saturday marks 18 years since Bruce has spoken to Brianna, a day to remember and keep searching for answers.
I think about Brianna every single day of my life, but I usually spend a little extra time on that day, and sometimes I'll connect that with a few people that have been supportive to me.
Yeah, I think somebody definitely attacked her in that car. Right here. Maybe she pulled over to help somebody. Or pulled over with a man. And then this guy wouldn't take no for an answer. Yeah, it's definitely a very interesting case. I don't know how much we should be focused in on this, but apparently there was a sighting. When it comes to sex trafficking, I mean, you really I don't know how to explain all of that. The psychology, the way people can just take, like Johnny Gosh. What is that? Stockholm syndrome. I think a lot of these missing people might have been put into sex trafficking. Silent running. Sleuth, did you know that that car in the video you showed last week had nothing to do with the Devil's Den suspect? Which car is that? The Mazda? Yeah. Well, we know that now. Something tells me you haven't been following my channel. We've been keeping up with that story step by step, pal. Lori, I think she backed up to get away and didn't expect to hit the barn. Then a guy got to her. Necklace on the ground, coins. Yeah, it looks like there was a struggle right there. Yes, we're fully up to date on the case. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. Bye, Silent. I have a full-time job. Like everybody in the chat doesn't have a full-time job. You're not special. Goat Dog, what's up? On March 19th, 2024, the FBI upped the reward for information on Brianna Maitland to $40,000 because they know who did it, but they need someone to corroborate the evidence that they have. Exactly. You could be the killer. Your DNA could be at the crime scene, but if you have a logical way to explain it, there's nothing that law enforcement can do with that information during a trial, right? Prosecutor says, hey, jury, we found his DNA here. Defense team says, well, we have a good explanation for that. A lot of good that does. So the defense team needs more information. They need more evidence. They need somebody to come forward. Kind of like Kagan Klein. He confessed. He said, me and my dad met somebody out in Delphi, And we participated in the murders of Abby and Libby. We got rid of a phone and a knife, right? Mysteriously, we can't find a phone and they can't find a knife. So it doesn't matter who confesses, especially if it's a lying piece of shit like Hagen Klein, if they don't have the evidence to back it up, like a knife sheath or something like that, it doesn't really matter. Miss Dog Lover, always lock your car doors as soon as you get in. Yeah, make sure you scan your surroundings. You know, look, like seriously, look around. Is there somebody peeking around a corner, hiding in a shadow? Is there somebody waiting around a corner? John Douglas talks a lot about high risk locations. Don't put yourself in a high risk location. First time I heard him mention that was for the Delphi murders. He said Abby and Libby went from the north side of the bridge, which was low risk, crossing the bridge to now where they're isolated to a high risk area. Stay low risk. And if you are confronted by a perpetrator, never, ever, ever go to a secondary location. The only reason this perpetrator needs you to go to a secondary location is to make things easy for himself. And just remember, the type of compulsion that is making a grown man or woman kidnap somebody at gunpoint, knife point in the middle of the day is not good. You don't want to be on the end of that type of compulsion. It's usually violent sadism. And people don't typically leave witnesses after those types of crimes. They may not be in it for the murder. They might be in it for some type of sexual gratification. But if they're a psychopath, they're not going to leave any witnesses. They would rather kill you, the object, than take the risk of being caught. So do not ever, 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 under any circumstances, go to a secondary location. Ever. You fight, you scream, you kick. I don't care if he has a gun, a knife. Trust me, the secondary location is just going to benefit him. He's going to be in a better position to use those weapons. Don't do it. Jet Set says, I'm old and retired, so I don't work anymore, but I had to work 35 years to get here. Exactly. This guy, I work a full-time job. No shit, idiot. I'm special. Sorry I don't watch all your shows, Sleuth, even though I'm right here in your chat. I'm busy working. Yeah, and I'm just a homeless YouTuber on my Obama phone. God, I hate creeps. They're so creepy, right? Why do we hate creeps? They're so creepy. Snape fan 69. Everyone in chat may have a full-time job, but you don't. You got called put for misinformation, so you blocked that person. Another troll. We can talk about the information, but I'm not going to be pawed at. You're not better than me. And I didn't put out misinformation. We had breaking information come through on my live stream. I put it out on a video, and then I took it down. I don't know why you got all butthurt about it. Nobody's been keeping up more with that case than we have. You're just creepy. Look, I just want to remind people what happens to trolls around here. All right? This is how we treat our trolls.
End this quickly. Dad just reluctant to come out of her corner 8 and let the war.
Sometimes even like this.
Leave me alone! Here we go. You're kidding me!
Sometimes like this.
All right, youngster, out you go.
Don't come back!
But we don't put up with the negativity. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Yep. Never go to a secondary location. Remember, most of these people are impulsive. They can't control themselves. A lot of them, not all of them, are complete pussies. The majority of them are. So they're just trying to look for the least resistance. They don't want to fight. If they can get their victim to get in the car or to get down on their knees, like law enforcement, they want to make you vulnerable so that they can take you into custody, right? Get on your knees, put your hands behind your back, cuff you. Now they're in total control of you. You're their prisoner. Dark, creepy chump. Yeah. And think about it. He had a choice, Darkseid. I can enter this chat and be part of the conversation, give my opinion, maybe even call Sleuth out on an eye or two, and do it in a respectful way. Why do they have to be creepy? We're not going to shy away, but I'm not going to accept any negativity. I want you guys to know that right now. I refuse to accept false guilt, for one. And number two is any negative energy. You can keep that shit. You can keep it.
I wonder if somebody calls my mama a whore. Is she?
What's up, Pit? Oh, and sometimes we just show trolls. It's very bad karma. Oh my gosh. Very bad karma. I haven't loaded that one up yet, Pitbull. It's coming though. Let's see. Which other ones do we have? Oh yeah. Good old Pat.
It'll get worse before it gets better.
Vincent, give me all you got! I swear, me and my brother.
What? At what point did you shoot the clerk?
I shot the clerk.
Yes, when did you shoot him?
I shot the clerk.
Hey, Dean, we need you.
He confessed.
But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
It's just weird. Any YouTube content creator, there's always this weird force out there for whatever reason that just wants to try to take them down. Like, how dare I put myself out on YouTube? The gall, right? I must be some conceited piece of shit to create a YouTube channel. I'm going to bring you down. Like, just chill, bro. Just chill. Yeah, possible car. And we didn't lie about where it came from. I mean, we found it live on air, you dipshit. Yeah, dummy. Goat Dog says, yeah, your likelihood of survival plummets to single digits if you let somebody take you to a secondary location. Because at the secondary location, they are going to be able to enact fantasies. Yeah, you don't want to do anything that they're asking you. You want to get real loud. What you really want to do is scare them. You want to do something that they didn't expect. Like maybe even just look them right in the eye and just scream as loud as you can. Ah, just as loud as you can. And if they come close to you, you just start clawing at their fucking eyeballs. Bite a finger off. I don't give a shit. Trust me, whatever is driving this guy to confront you and try to kidnap you, you don't want any part of what he has planned. Because anything that is causing a grown person to do what he's doing is an impulse that is caused by a lot of psychological craziness. You don't want to be any part of that. Yep, Mark, positive vibes. Positive vibrations. None of that creepiness. Ugh. Thought the public did a good job identifying that car as a Kia Stinger. Yeah, great job. They did wonderful in the chat. We put up the vehicle. We thought, what could it possibly be? And I didn't make a decision either way. We boiled it down to, it was originally a top 5 and then to a top 4. And the Kia Stinger was right there. And the chat had pretty much stated, yeah, that's a Kia Stinger. And it matched. I think a lot of the confusion about it being a Mazda was the dark rims. You think Mazda, the modern Mazda, usually has the darked out, the darkened rims. And most likely they won't bother cover their face, so they will rationalize that it's easier to kill you than to let you live. And sometimes, Goat Dog, it's an evolution, right? Evolution of a serial killer. Maybe when they were younger, let's say a teenager, and they may have attempted to sexually assault a friend, a neighbor, or tried to abduct somebody, and it didn't go as planned. So now they're adults. They've learned, like, hey, if I try to sexually assault my neighbor or my friend or my classmate, they're going to run away and tell. Like, that's how I got in trouble. So next time I do this, if I don't, it's not that I need to stop. I can't stop, right? That's what the killer's thinking. They wouldn't be doing this, you guys, if they could stop. That's what's terrifying. They cannot control themselves. They're out here raping, pillaging, killing because they cannot control themselves. So if they can't stop and they know they're going to do it, all they're concerned about is getting caught. Now they're not going to let their victims go next time. So they're evolving. Kick him in the balls. Kick him in the nards. Wolfman ain't got nards. Kick him anyway. All right, guys, this will be our 5-minute warning. If there's anything you want to add, do it now. Do it. I guess that's what we have to deal with as the channel grows. The likelihood of us being trolled grows too. But I just want all you trolls to know, you step 1 foot in here and try to spread that negativity.
End this quickly. Atkins reluctant to come out of her corner. Ada, let the one.
You get dealt with real quick. Since a good troll clip would be a Patrick Swayze DD1 where he says, you just put the pickle on everybody's plate, college boy, and leave the hard stuff to me. We're definitely putting the karma guy up there. Goat Dog, the simplest thing to do is to look past the person and act like you are signaling someone else. And whenever they turn to check and there is no one behind them, you just run the opposite direction. Hey, that's a good plan. The good old, look over there. The old sucker punch. Going down, son. Going down. Yeah. And if they have a gun, I mean, what else are you going to run? Think about it. The killer wants to take you to a secondary location so that they can make you their prisoner. So that means that they don't want to get caught. If they have a gun and you're in a public spot and they're trying to hide it, conceal it, like, hey, come with me, I'm going to shoot you. If they pull that trigger, you're going to have a better chance of surviving that than, around the building or in the vehicle. Not to mention the perpetrator is going to be afraid to draw that much attention. The reason that he's taking you to a secondary location is because he does not want attention. So by pulling that trigger, you can tell right then and there, most times they're probably bluffing that gun, but not always. Thomas Jerome Bruce is a really scary example of a guy who was not bluffing. He walked into a Catholic supply store after being laid off of his job and drinking and looking for work. And he pulled a gun out on 3 grown women. He told them, you guys are going to undress. You're going to, I think he demanded fellatio and sodomy. The first woman said, no, absolutely not. And he, without hesitation, he shot her in the head. But see, what you have to realize about that situation is they were already in the secondary location. He just skipped point A and went to point B. Right? Walked in, took him to the back room. He literally kidnapped them in the secondary location. So that's different. That's why you don't want to go to that secondary location. So those types of things cannot be perpetrated against you. But either way, guys, it was nice to hang out with you. You all know I like to do these little get-togethers where we give you the chance to call in on the link. I have my phone number, so if any of you trolls, you can always call in if you got something to say. The number's there, but that's going to do it for this hour. And we do have a live stream scheduled for later. And hopefully I'll see you guys there. Take care.